Welcome back. For the AFEX summary now, we're seeing the last trading week. It was mixed performances across key indicators. Turnover fell by 0.3%, closing the week at 1.60 billion naira from 1.65 billion in the previous trading week, while numbers of volumes traded witnessed an increase of 0.05%. Number of deals traded dropped by 0.23%, closing at 95 from 124 in the last trading week. And the AFEX Commodities Index witnessed a decline of 0.01%, while the AFEX Export Index maintained at 229.25 points. To the volume of contracts traded now witnessed an increase in volume across sorghum and cashew. And across the export commodities, there we see paddy rice, soybean, sesame, ginger, wheat, and sorghum maintained at 456 naira, 377 naira, 1,247 naira, 440 naira, respectively. Other commodities witnessed positive performances, with cocoa rising by 1.92% and closing at 2,133 naira 64 kobo, and cashew nut that rose 0.31%, closing at 588 naira 19 kobo. Across grain commodities, we see maize had an increase of about 3.35% and closed at 412 naira 62 kobo per kilogram. For more now, you can visit the website there, AFEX, www.AFEX Africa Exchange, for more details, africaexchange.com, social media, AFEX Nigeria at Comics by AFEX for more details. All right, let's take the conversations forward now. See, as the central bank has lifted the foreign exchange forex restriction on importation for 3 items as part of its commitment to boosting liquidity in the forex market. While the removal will certainly impact the manufacturing sectors, it is also worthy of note that the commodities ecosystem is not left out, particularly with the removal of the rice ban. Joining us now for this is Yusuf Ogumbi, Head Sales Operation at AFEX. Great to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to be here.
So how do you anticipate this removal, affecting Nigeria's commodities market, particularly commodities such as paddy rice?
So the interesting thing is that the Nigerian commodities market is quite robust. The Nigerian market itself is quite robust, and you would see that typically the market has been operating for years and decades before this policy was implemented. So now that this policy has been lifted, the restriction has been lifted, you would see a number of dynamics shift, majorly looking at the import parity becoming quite important as you go into the coming seasons, the coming years, right? And typically what you would see market participants begin to look at is they begin to look at the cost of these commodities outside the country. Countries like Thailand, Vietnam become important at this point in time. They begin to look at the cost of commodities, the cost of logistics, and what will be the import parity at the end of the day. That's the question on everybody's mind right now. So for participants in the market, you begin to say, okay, if I want to import the commodity into the country, paddy rice, for instance, will it be cheaper than me buying it within the country? And this will become quite important. And don't forget, when this policy was implemented, you had the exchange rate at 360 naira, 363 naira, if I'm not mistaken. Now the exchange rate is 1,000 plus. So that means that you would see people compare these exchange rates. The cost of importing would also go up. And the dynamics across board will shift, basically. But then, very importantly, the exchange rate becomes important. The import parity also becomes important for participants evaluating this decision.
All right, we see local farmers have enjoyed, protective measures against imported competition due to restrictions. How the removal of these restrictions impacts their operations and competitiveness in the market?
So there are two sides to this coin, right? It's not just the CBN policy that has been responsible for the good seasons that the farmers in Nigeria have enjoyed. Basically, you are looking at strong, robust demand for commodities across board in the country. You are looking at a market where the population continues to grow, a median age of, say, around 19, 20 years. That means a population that consumes heavily. So that's a strong determinant of the robustness we've seen in the market over the past few years. So if you then layer on top of that the CBN policy, you then see some added advantage for farmers within the country. But now that this CBN policy has been removed, you still continue to see the robust growth in population and demand in the country, and that will continue to drive demand for commodities within the country. Again, the question is, will it be cheaper to bring in commodities into the country? As it stands, as of today, no, it isn't. And the participants will then begin to weigh these efforts, these factors to decide whether they want to import. Secondly, there are a lot of logistical and financial implications of importing into the country, some of which the participants in this market are not really accustomed with. So they would typically have that learning curve. They will have to build that understanding as to how they will deal with other markets, importing, raising LCs, getting dollars to import their commodities from other countries. And these will become important moving forward. So again, farmers in the country will continue to enjoy robust demand because of the underlying population growth we have. And then participants in the industry will also have a learning curve. So CBN policy or no CBN policy, restriction or not, you still continue to see that demand grow strong in the country.
All right, give us a sense of how this decision will impact government's goal of achieving, food security and self-sufficiency, and what adjustments might be necessary to ensure these objectives are still met.
So the interventions you've seen in the commodities market, whether you're talking about paddy, it's on multiple fronts. So you're looking at fiscal interventions. Of course, the monetary intervention that was applied by the CBN is what we are discussing here. You also still have the fiscal interventions, the tariffs, the interventions by the government, the amount of money the government has pumped into the economy. And I think the interventions will continue will stay because the government still has the intention of driving demand and food production domestically. So those interventions will stay. We haven't seen any commitments or any pronouncements on the tariffs, on the levies that have been imposed on these commodities. So those tariffs and levies still remain. So these things will continue to drive the production within the country. As per food security and food sufficiency, COVID has taught us that every country must make efforts to assure to be sure of food security and food self-sufficiency. You may not achieve 100%, but then to some degree you would still have to ensure that you are able to produce a good amount of what you consume. So again, there are multiple fronts to consider this. There's the fiscal side, there's the food security side, and I think the government is making strong efforts to ensure that food security continues to grow in the country. Food self-sufficiency, if we may not achieve 100%, we still achieve a good number of that. And the interventions will continue to play in the market, and these will continue to drive the government decisions, in my opinion.
All right, as a market leader now, how does this policy change and affect the trading dynamics and volumes on the exchange?
So again, like I said earlier, Nigeria is a very robust market. You are looking at over 200 million people as at the last count. You're looking at a very young population consuming. You're looking at a market that is well connected to other countries, Niger, Chad. As far as Sudan, people come into Nigeria to buy commodities. So it's a market that is quite robust, has the population to support its demand. And as a result, the operations will continue to run. It's not a situation where, I would like to mention that it's not a situation where you see demand dry up, no. You will continue to have demand going up as we have it in the country. Demand for production of grains in a country is roughly around 28 to 30 million metric tons. You will continue to see that grow as number of hectareage deployed to production continues to increase. So again, the Nigerian market is quite robust, to say the least, and the exchange will continue to benefit from those kind of fundamentals to drive the demand on the exchange. Again, you also see a lot of participants on the exchange enjoying the benefit of participating on an exchange. And then more and more of them are committing more volumes to be bought via the exchange as against what they used to do, because it guarantees you quality, quantity, and you are able to manage a lot of the formal processes that we're used to. The goal of the exchange is to formalize a lot of the informal processes we are exposed to, and that's something that benefits a lot of people in the country, whether you're talking of farmers, you're talking of traders, you're talking of processors, benefits all and sundry. So basically the demand on the exchange is not expected to decline, it's expected to continue to increase, and the Nigerian market continues to remain robust as we have it, even getting more robust. So in my opinion, it's going to increase actually.
All right, we'll definitely keep tracking that. Thank you so much, Yusuf Ogumbi, Head, Sales and Operation at AFEX. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.